All right, what's up, everybody? Podcast number 4. Hell yeah, we're talking about creativity in the brain, in the noggin. Some cool stuff to read about creativity, and we're going to use a little bit from a book. And we've got our own stuff to say about creativity. So, have you ever heard of a nematode worm?
I have not.
Yeah,
No.
me neither. Not until, recently.
Yeah.
But so this worm, this thing is like a millimeter long, and it's transparent. It's got like 383 neurons in its brain. That's not very many, in case you were wondering. But even this thing has like the capacity for curiosity, like most creatures do. But 383 brain cells in comparison to our 86 billion, which is where
Pretty
I
close.
think. What's that?
It says pretty close.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Maybe you have 86 billion, but I got something more like the worm, probably.
Yeah, around the 500 mark.
Yeah. And but I think that's where we can start when it comes to like the human brain power and how it causes us to be creatures of creation, right? So I guess roughly put, when our brain organize these neurons, they're essentially split up into two groups. One which acts as like our detection and senses our environment, and the other that reacts to it. So I think it basically comes down to the amount of pathways between the two groups of neurons, which for most mammals and other creatures, like, they got 1 or 2 pathways between these two groups of neurons. And, humans, we've got a shitload, I guess. And so that has something to do with there's like a surplus of neurons, if you will, that generates this random thought. It's like basically there's, I guess, two networks in our brain, right? One that manages everything, takes care of, most of our basic function. And then we've got this other side to us that creates all this spontaneous and random thought. So we're basically relying on the cooperation of those two particular networks in the brain. So whenever you've got this side that is creating all these random thoughts, most of the random shit that you think up through your day, the kind of executive network in your brain decides which of those ideas are worth pursuing, which ones are, important.
Is that recording?
In a sense.
I don't think it is.
Are we rolling? Of course not.
It was up until then, until it made that beep.
What the hell happened?
I don't know.
Well, our camera just quit rolling, so we're going to try to fix that real quick, but then we'll just keep on rolling, I guess. You want to just keep going?
Yeah, no problem.
Cool.
Well, I'll turn it back on.
It's on?
It's not recording.
Bummer.
What's the record button? There's a slow-mo.
It's on top, man. Like a camera.
Little red
Not-
circle.
Not to undermine you at all, but it's right there, yes.
Thought that was the power. My bad.
Right
Holy
on.
shit. We're back. Were we even here at all?
Yeah, we were here. I heard that beep
It
3
just
times.
quit
and
recording,
everything
huh?
Quit.
Oh, damn. Well, anyways, where the hell was I?
Just continue on. Right there from where you were at.
Yeah, so you got these two networks in your brain deciding, the things that you process, I guess. And if you're kind of able to tap into utilizing more of these random thoughts, that's what creativity is. The more ideas that you act on, all these random ideas that you have throughout the day, the more you act on, the essentially more creative you can tend to be.
Oh,
It's kind of where.
when did these
was
ideas hit you? Is there any particular thing you're doing? Time of day, mindset that you need to be in?
You know,
to
I was
actually-
told that in the morning tends to be whenever your mind's fresh. A lot of times,
when your mind's fresh.
yeah, and after a meal, sometimes, if especially sugar things, it's interesting. Like, you know how the same way that if you want to go to the gym and you need a little boost, eat some sugar.
True.
It does the same thing if you're, just it's your mind. It's basically you're exercising your mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that you get told, Are you trying to work on something? Are you trying to work on some ideas? Eat some chocolate or whatever. It's just kind of one thing you can do. It's
You're
interesting.
telling me that creativity comes from certain pathways in your brain, firing of neurons,
Mhm.
and they are sparked by any number of things.
Yeah.
'Cause see, what I've been told all my life is that creativity, literally, you hear this all the time. It comes from everywhere, anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But
In a sense.
yes, which means it could come from when you wake up, like you said. It can come from eating sugar. It can come from literally anything. So I have some right here that even redundant tasks can lead to more creativity. Repetitively tapping your finger on something. Maybe it's gaining a rhythm. Maybe you're a drummer and you get an idea for a new beat or something like that. That's just one way. New experiences, like going and visiting
Of course.
mountains or something that you've never seen, something unique to you, something that you visited for your first time.
Yeah, some sort of travel
Can
or-
spark something in your mind and say, like, yeah, that's it. That's what I've been missing. And it can lead to music. It can lead to art. It can lead to anything that you're good at or anything that you're particularly skilled in. These are just a few things. Also, again, just like you said, well, actually, it's the opposite. Rather waking up, I guess you could be tired after you wake up, but being tired. Some of the most creative minds were tired when they had their ideas.
Yeah.
They're just beat and they just couldn't think. They were in that like almost hysterical phase of like I'm so tired, I just need to sleep. Boom. Epiphany. Some of their best ideas come from something like that. And also, the more experienced you are in something. So, the more you do it, eventually something's got to give, and it's going to be, and it'll tend to lead to a new idea. You want to get out of this box of doing the same old, so you find new ways to do certain things.
Right.
That's part of the redundancy thing, though, too. You ever had anything particularly that you've done repetitively that led you to do something, say, more efficiently than before?
Oh yeah. Well, shit. That's your first reaction to that question. Is like, well, yeah, and then you're like, well,
I've got a
damn.
good one for you.
Yeah.
We're both guitar players. When did you finally switch from only stroking down when you were picking
okay,
to get
alternate
more
picking.
efficient?
Exactly.
You were like, man, I just can't go that fast. Wonder if I went up and down. Boom.
I did that when I got a little smarter. When one of my 500 neurons in my brain fired off and was like,
One
"You
of
can come back up."
Wow. Ding, 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 ding. So much
That's a good
easier now.
example. That's a good example.
There's a lot of major things that get in your way. Like when you're actually trying to be creative, you definitely want to have all your affairs in order. If there's
course.
anything, like if you've got bills on your mind, if you've got chores that need to be done around the house, you want everything you want to be as content as
You
you
want to
can
have
be
your
with
house
everything.
in order.
Exactly. But that frees up your mind. And then all of a sudden you get to this next phase where you have a chance to daydream because you have free time.
Boom. I mean, this brings you back to routine.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
if you establish a good routine for yourself, it creates this freedom for you.
all
and-
these
and
things
peace
fall
of
into
mind.
place.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just a chain reaction. You do one good thing for yourself, it's going to lead to a lot more good things down the road. Guaranteed. Yeah, once your distractions are gone from your life, set alone. Just kind of space out. Some of your best things can come from you just being
Sitting
in another
and doing
world,
nothing.
in a literal another parallel universe inside your own mind. Just be away from everything. Like some of the best ideas have came from dreams, and you're literally dreaming, not just daydreaming. You are asleep dreaming.
Yeah. Straight from the subconscious.
Exactly. And that has to do. Oh, yeah. Here's a good one. Speaking of subconscious, another good way to be more creative is look into surrealism, art.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
That's some wild shit, man.
Yeah. Seek out uncertainty.
Trains in the clouds.
Exactly.
And
think outside the box.
Yeah.
Just add random things together that don't make any sense and see what you come up with. And when you're actually developing these ideas, if you actually have one, go ahead and establish a few more, just in case that's not the one that you're looking for this particular solution that you're needing, if you're working on a project or something like that. But that's one way. Just don't stop while you're ahead. Keep going. Just keep it going. If you've got the creative mind flowing, let it flow. Don't stop it.
Keep the gravy train in the clouds
Exactly.
rolling.
And even if you're not an artist, another thing you can do is just doodle. Just draw a little bit and see what it sparks. Your hands might not be able to articulate what you want to put on paper, but your mind's gonna envision it.
Yeah.
Even if your hands can't translate that.
Yeah.
But it's another good way of just getting out of a rut that you're
You could
in.
come up with a number of ideas doing
Exactly.
that,
It comes back to the very beginning where anything can spark creativity, honestly. And for God's sakes, listen to podcasts. Some of other people's ideas
Yes.
can spark some of the best for yourselves. And read. If there's anything I can tell people in this world, please read.
Read some books
It
and
may
watch
suck.
podcasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly this one.
Yes, particularly ours, yes. Watch TED Talks. I mean, these are some of the brightest minds in
Yeah, I
the
love
world
TED
that
Talks.
have the best ideas. I know I'm saying this out of basically what you would almost consider competition for podcasts, but it's true. Some of my best ideas have been sparked by other intelligent people.
Of course, that's super common.
Yeah, pass the knowledge along. Once you get it, pass it along. That should be how it is.
Hell, man, what was it you said a minute ago? Okay, when you're extremely tired, sometimes shit just comes to you. Then a lot of great artists do that. In particular, like Da Vinci, we mentioned him the other day, how he sleeps for 20 minutes at a time, and somehow he was fantastic. But so maybe if you're super tired, you could be tired physically, or you could be tired of a number of things in your life, maybe. And it's almost like ideas come from this despair, this hopelessness sometimes. Like,
oh, yeah. They can definitely come from a dark void,
Yeah.
dark place in your life.
I've
Yeah.
got a great example, and his name is Bob Dylan. Now, I'd never heard this until I picked up this book, and I'd honestly like to run through a little bit of it,
Please.
if I could. So I'll just give you the gist of it. First of all, I gotta tell you what this book is. It's called "Imagine How Creativity Works" by Jonah Lehrer. Oh man, I didn't look into how to say his name, but
You may have butchered it, but it'll be
I
all right.
probably
We gave him
totally
props.
butchered it.
It's
I'll just
amazing.
I'll give you a good view and everything. Just this is not mine. But so he goes and he tells Bob Dylan's story, and I mean, if you're a Bob Dylan fan, you may know this. I didn't really know this because honestly, I'm not much of a Bob Dylan fan. But
Me neither.
Bob Dylan, he's iconic. He's great. kind of. I'm probably gonna catch a lot of hate for this, but anyways, he was like a pop icon, I guess, in the beginning, and he played his acoustic guitar, and he did his thing in England, and he got to where he hated it. He was getting sick and tired of it. He had fans coming and telling him they didn't like what he was doing, yada yada. Guys like me, I guess, and he got sick and tired of it. I mean, so it's interesting. This book, Jonah, refers to Bob Dylan. It's actually the first chapter in this book, where he kind of tells Bob Dylan's story and how him. Anyways, I'll explain more after I read just a little bit. Okay, so I'm just kind of jumping in. It was here that Dylan told his manager he was quitting the music business. He was finished with singing and songwriting and was going to move to a tiny cabin in Woodstock, New York. Although Dylan had become a pop icon, the prophetic poet of his generation, he was ready to renounce it all, to surrender the celebrity and status, if it meant he might be left alone. Dylan wasn't bluffing. As promised, he returned from his British tour and rode his Triumph motorcycle straight out of New York City. He was leaving the folk scene of the village behind, heading upstate to an empty house. He was done writing songs. He had nothing else to say. Dylan didn't even bring his guitar. Every creative journey begins with a problem. It starts with a feeling of frustration, the dull ache of not being able to find the answer. We've worked hard, but we've hit the wall. We have no idea what to do next. Like, when we tell one another stories about creativity, we tend to leave out this phase of the creative process. Then neglect to mention those days when we wanted to quit, when we believed that our problems were impossible to solve. Because such failures contradict the romantic version of events, there is nothing triumphant about a false start. We forget all about them. The failures also remind us how close we came to having no stories to tell. Instead, we skip straight to the breakthroughs. We tell the happy endings first. The danger of telling this narrative is that the feeling of frustration, the act of being stumped, is an essential part of the creative process. Before we can find the answer, before we probably even know the question, we must be immersed in disappointment, convinced that a solution is beyond our reach. We need to have wrestled with the problem and lost. And so we give up and move to Woodstock because we will never create what we want to create.
Can I start off by saying that hit home with me so hard that, like, when I made fun of that book earlier, I regret doing so now, because that was...
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's fantastic.
That hit home with me so good. Like, wow. It put a lot of things in perspective.
I see exactly what you're saying, and of course I can think of some things that it relates to me and these other guys and you yourself.
Oh, for sure.
With us being in a band together, yeah. Oh man, but yeah. Anyways, Jonah did a great job, and like that's something that when I had first read that I had never thought. I was like, man, that makes a lot of sense, and you feel it. I think a lot of people, if you're listening to this,
most people have actually experienced it to some degree.
Yeah,
experienced
exactly.
That exact same thing. Failure, and then all of a sudden the epiphany, the aha moment. You know the question, and now you know how to. Well, now you have to work for the answer. But
come a little closer. There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe pull your a little closer to you.
Oh, was I not
sound distant? You sound distant every once in a while.
Ooh, okay.
It's not too bad.
Right on.
I don't think.
Right on. So yeah, dark places lead to great things sometimes.
Right?
From Bob Dylan.
Like, dang. If you want to be more creative, just, I don't know.
Get super depressed. And go hide away for a while, and then hopefully something will happen before something bad happens to you. No, seriously, guys, don't do that.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Don't
do it intentionally. I bet that will not.
It probably comes with the process of certain adventures.
Yeah.
For sure. Don't do that. We don't want depressed people walking around, for sure. There's already too many of them.
Yeah. There's a lot of dark music and dark artwork and dark everything out right now too. It's just like, man, we don't want to we don't want to muddy up and darken all the creative content there is out there.
So I do have a question. You read basically his testimony of how he got through his creative rut, but how did he actually like come out of it? I mean, was he all the better for it afterwards? Or?
Oh man, yeah.
That was like, I know you may not be able to answer this, but like, what part of his career was he in?
Okay, here's honestly where I messed up. I read this a long time ago. I can't really remember the timeline, and when I was before I read it, that little bit, I'm pretty certain it was actually before he came back and was like, then it was Bob Dylan of the...
that maybe everyone knows now.
That everyone knows now.
The
Yeah,
one that
there you go.
The Bob Dylan that everyone knows and loves today.
Yes, thank you. I believe I could be totally wrong. You know what? And I would just advise read the book.
It sounds like an interesting read. Like that should be the hook right there. Is that on the back too, or is that just inside the book? Because that should definitely
that's from a chapter. That's from the first chapter of the book. Yeah,
that's freaking good.
Yeah, that grabbed me pretty quick. It talks about other things. It talks about there's a chapter in here about alpha waves, and it's like I think he calls the chapter the alpha connection. And there's some really interesting stuff in there. There's it mentions blue light in here, how blue light can enhance creativity somehow neurologically.
Yeah. So blue sparks creativity, just like red and yellow spark hunger.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's a psychological effect that the colors have on your mind.
Yeah, very strange.
That's awesome. I did not know that about blue, honestly. I might have to paint my room blue then.
Yeah, get some blue lights. Seriously though, get some blue lights for your workspace or your studios, and experiment with it. See what it does. Yeah, paint your whole fucking room blue. Get a blue mattress. Get a blue comforter.
It could definitely help.
Blue curtains.
I'm willing to try anything. One thing that we didn't mention exactly is that, like, we already talked about how to be creative you need to have time, but so basically opportunity is the mother of creativity. So if you don't ever have the opportunity, if you're always held down, that you'll never get a chance to. You'll never have that freedom, so to say. So would you say that people, let's say well-off people that grew up well-off and really didn't have to worry about much, would you say that they're more creative?
That's interesting. I don't know if I could say.
Or do you think that there's a chance it could go either way, that they didn't use their chances appropriately?
Sure.
And it could go either way.
I bet you could take two examples that me and you have both given here to answer that question. You could say, well, like maybe let's talk about somebody that grew up and they didn't have to jump into the 9-to-5 after high school, or they had it pretty easy. They had time and opportunity. Maybe they even came out of high school. They could still stay at home, or they're going to school and still staying at home. You can say yes, that they can tend to be more creative because maybe they have that opportunity. You could also say, I think I may have given bad examples, honestly, not just somebody that stayed home and went to college.
Yeah,
it's not somebody like that maybe. Yeah. But maybe somebody that has some kind of passive income and inheritance maybe or something, and they haven't had to go to work. And at some point, in their life they want to start a creative career, or they're already in a creative career, maybe they could be held up by not having to go through that struggle. You hear a lot of musicians and you hear a lot of artists, in the end they're talking about their struggle, and but I think anybody can go through struggles no matter what their living situation is. So that's a really hard one to say.
Yeah,
honestly,
I just wanted to hear your opinion on the matter. Like, me personally, I feel that you make do with what you got at any given time. If you're going to be a creative person, you're going to be creative. So you're going to find a route to take that gets you to what you want to do. I do believe that. I see that in certain people, that no matter where they came from, that their drive is just more than others. These are just things that I've witnessed.
That's exceptional. Yeah.
Like, but then again, there's some people that have had opportunity and maybe didn't have to work, that didn't use it at all. They just decided that, no, I'm going to use my free time for free time, not for creative time, not for critical thinking or anything like the such. So I do believe it goes both ways. I believe it's person dependent. Yeah, honestly,
it probably has to do with what defines an artist, in a way, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah,
put it that way.
For sure. Was there something you wanted to say? You mentioned something about asking bands something.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, if you've made it this far, thank you. Thank you very much. And so, we got to tell you about the show that's coming out this weekend. That's on Saturday night at Badass Renee's in Tulsa. And the show's starting about 9.
Yep.
Right there, 9 o'clock. And we're playing at 10. So, if you want to come see us in Tulsa, do that. It'll be a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's 3 other bands there. And I know with the virus and all that, I know there's a lot of people that have been wanting to go see a show. And maybe there's some people that don't know that they're going on, but there's a few going on out there. And so, yeah, come see us. And also, we really want to book a show in Oklahoma City. So we need a couple bands. So if you are in a band or you know a band, holler at us.
And we're interested.
Yeah,
we
want to
book shows, and we need some more bands to help us out.
Yeah, and then we can go ahead and book a show somewhere. And Oklahoma City or even Texas. If you're a band from Texas, hit us up and let's book something. Be awesome. So, let's see, real quick. I just wanted to actually, I don't know. We might be running out of time, but did you know that Google, they came up with it's like a program within the company, and it's called the Innovation Time Off. Can you believe that shit?
Innovation Time Off.
Innovation Time Off.
Is this? Let me just take a guess at this. They give them time off to use their free time for creative thinking.
It sounded that cool, but I read into it.
't not that cool.
It is still pretty cool. I don't mean to bash it, but just kind of poking fun at it there. But like every Google employee uses 20% of their time working on projects that intrigue them, like things that they want to work on. So they can work on some software or a program that they want, that they're like, cool. Hey, this would be cool. Like I want to create this app. They use about I don't know what 20% of your time would be at Google. But I mean, that's something that they make everybody do, I guess, or maybe they don't make you do it. I don't know that much, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But and it's like, so it's basically, it's a program that they started to encourage employees and perhaps promote creativity. And some of their bigger programs like Gmail and Google News and stuff like that were made
off of this creative time.
Yeah,
like how employees. Specified do your own thing time?
Yeah, crazy shit,
work.
Huh? Uh-huh.
I wish I had do my own thing time at work.
I know, right? Most companies don't do that, and that's poor. That sucks.
Yeah, and I think that's what's getting them somewhere is they're innovators and they basically run the world because they let people.
I mean, you've seen like pictures or videos of their offices. I mean, they got all this crazy furniture and.
Yeah. They're
inside. It's like, just come over here and have fun.
Yeah.
Woo.
Just hang out, get in our ball pit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just shit. Anyways, is that about all?
Yeah, that about wraps it up.
All right, man.
We hope to see y'all in the next one. Like we said before, we're going to try to put these out every day. if time allows for it. And let us know if you have any topics that you want to hear.
Put them in the comments.
There we go. Sorry for the interruption,
Is it
everybody.
recording though?
Did you ever start it? If not, the GoPro has it, so it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we could just switch the audio.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Hopefully it did, because this sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot better. Because I compared the two before I put the video on.
Mm.
Oh, we can't get in.
Oh, wow.
All right, that's cool. We'll add a... Okay, thanks. Leave comments down below on the next subjects that you'd
Yeah.
like to hear. Just let us know. Thank you.